What's going on, dudes and dudettes out there in Ampland? So, you'll remember the other day we were looking at this symmetrical triangle that I have kept drawn here, over here on, let's point out, we're on the 4-hourly chart. And we were discussing that the symmetrical triangle was seeing quite a few tests at the top, and if we got a breakout, we would expect a break above the all-time high here at about 1.4 cents, likely way up into that fib range, and then stabilize down at the all-time high before forming some new movements. Alternatively, another thing we expected was if we had a breakdown to the bottom, we were expecting to target that psychological barrier of 1 cent, or the fib level slightly below that, right? And that just didn't happen. I expected that this fib level here was so close to the triangle that it wouldn't really provide much support at all, but in fact, it did. We got a very large candle that broke out of the triangle, an attempted break back into it, followed by a break back down, continuously settling very close to this fib level here. And so I'm going to go ahead and take the L on that one, and, the call wasn't right. I mean, in a way, it was more bullish than the call. We were kind of split on if we were going up or down, right? It kind of depended on the market around us. But the downside ended up not being so bad. Now, that pattern didn't really play out. One thing I'm sort of seeing here, let's take a look at this, followed by this, and what we're starting to see form here. To me, this sort of looks like a cup and handle pattern, which is a bullish continuation pattern. And you also do see, like you are generally expecting in a cup and handle, towards the middle, we did have a taper off of the volume in here, right? Down at the very bottom, the volume started to really drop off there. And we saw the handle form here. It's not perfectly symmetrical by any means, but we did get wicks up close. It's a very rough drawing that we have here, let's be honest. But the handle posted down cleanly to about half the distance from the top of its leg of the bowl, down to really the bottom of the candle bodies. And now we're seeing what we would expect out of a cup and handle of upwards momentum. Now, hopefully this is enough upwards momentum to break us out of that all-time high. Let's go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. And let's also, just to clean up here, now let's leave the pattern there. Why not? Huh? So let's say we take the top of this handle and travel down to the very bottom. About a 12% or so drop from the top of the handle down to the bottom. Generally, you're kind of going to measure about that same amount up to the upside for the pattern to start to stabilize and complete. And so you'll see that if we get a candle that closes above there, that's significantly higher than those little wicks that we were getting back on the 5th and 6th of February above the all-time high. So if we can get this pattern to continue and close very bullish above the all-time high here in the next, I don't know, say 8, 12 hours or so, that's awesome, and I think we'll see consolidation at the all-time high before we continue the move. The other thing to note here, part of this is Elon Musk, part of this is Tesla, part of this is Michael Saylor and his big convention that he had, if you haven't heard of it, where he brought basically he had a forum of executives that were interested in investing in Bitcoin, where he described to these, people that are running billion-dollar companies how to do it, right? Because for you and I, if we drop, $10,000 onto Bitcoin, you go onto Uphold, you go onto Coinbase, you go onto Gemini, you go onto Binance, you go onto whatever website you're trading on. You click the buy, and you set your limits, and you buy that much Bitcoin. Whereas when you're dumping, well, I don't want to say dumping, pushing $1 billion of liquidity into the market, that creates shockwaves, right? And so you're looking to do over-the-counter trading. If I remember correctly, even Coinbase, if you're making trades over about $10,000, they recommend contacting them to trade over the counter. And over the counter trading is just you're not going out on the order books and issuing a spot price. You're kind of setting up a deal with somebody else that's trying to sell a large amount of coinage, or you're setting up a deal with the exchange itself to buy over the counter from the exchange. And so there's that one complication. The other complication is when you're managing billions of dollars in assets, the tax situation and the regulatory situation gets incredibly convoluted. And so, if I remember correctly, when Michael Saylor's company started going, pretty much all in on Bitcoin with their cash reserves, it took a legal team months of work to really figure out the proper way to legally go about this. And so, one of the major components of this convention is, or symposiums, maybe whatever you want to call it, forums, is him giving that information of here's what it took my legal team months to figure out. Here's the skeleton framework to give to your legal team that'll rapidly expedite your process of buying into the crypto market. And so I think even more so than Elon Musk, that's been one of the real drivers here over the past few days. Certainly that 1.8 or so $billion Tesla deal, that's very big news as well. And I think given what we're hearing about Michael Saylor's thing that he has going on, they expect a lot more Tesla tier inventions into the crypto space very soon. Just wanted to go off on that little tangent about how Bitcoin is, once again, helping bring the market up with it. Jumping over here on some fundamentals news. Trading on I believe this is a DeFi exchange. Yeah, DEX. New DeFi exchange. Otherwise, carrying on like Flex the Network does, where they get all their ducks in a row before anybody ever really, before they ever really announce any big news to people. So yeah, go ahead and hopefully expect this cup and handle formation. Yes, puppy, I'm amped up about AMP 2, puppy. Go ahead and expect this cup and handle formation on the 4-hourly. See how that plays out over the next 4 to 12 hours. And hopefully we'll post up above the all-time high and start consolidating and forming support as opposed to resistance at this point. Let's go ahead and look at the hourly. Can really see a very similar pattern. You don't really see the handle doesn't really appear. Oh, actually, I got completely confused here. I'm so sorry. This dog, you are so needy, puppy. That's my dog. Her name's Leica. So you can sort of see the pattern here. Let's go ahead and make these candles a little bit bigger. Retrace. Very shaky on the hourly. 4-hourly though is kind of the time frame that a little bit more stable, and I think that's what we're seeing play out here, as opposed to that symmetrical triangle that we were originally targeting. Taking a look on the daily here, just to kind of frame ourselves. We're on a slow daily uptrend after that breakdown. See where we're on the daily are, symmetrical almost. Almost looks like it played out like we expected it to. So that's about all I have for you today. Guys. Have a good one.